Hello, Team Absolution fans, far and wide. This is your captain speaking, and it has been a very long time since I have said that. No wonderful intro, except maybe there is, if I can dig it up from my computer. Um, if I do, here were the dragons. If I don't, sorry. Uh, this, of course, is the captain speaking. I'm bringing with me here today my teammates from this last incredible Duluth run. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, the Keith Murphy. How you doing, Keith?
Doing just grand. It feels very surreal to be on this call.
And then the man of many names, but the only one that matters here is Braxton Express. Braxton. How you
Hey
doing, Brax?
everybody, we're back. Sorta, yeah, we're
Um,
here.
without getting too deep into the weeds about where we've been, life is life, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Life is life, and unfortunately, we're all in separate places, except not really. Braxton's really close to me, but that's neither here nor there. We're all busy as life. We are in our early 30s, which is I just got older just saying that out loud.
I
But
gained
here
one
we
more
are.
white hair in my beard just as you said that. Just
But welcome to this special edition of Damage Check.
Oh
10 years
man,
later. Um, no spoilers for you today. Nothing of that. Today's focus is one thing and one thing only, and that is, gentlemen, if you've got yours, it's time to raise them up.
we did it.
It's the story of how we finally made it through the fucking gauntlet that is the Bushi Team's event. But to start, I want to set just a brief backdrop, and I think we'll all agree with this, and we'll talk about it for just a minute.
okay.
The real journey started last year when we decided we were going to take one last swing, like one, at least what we thought at the time would be my final swing at a Bushi top. I was like, life is getting too hectic. I don't know if I can really chase this anymore. We're going to give it one last go. And we went with, I played Luahan, Braxton,
I played Jeva.
Keith,
And I played Draduled.
and despite it all, we did make it through the rounds, and we played an unprecedented, incredible run. We were all very proud of our performance. We were a little let down with some of our games, without a doubt. But we ended up if I remember, at 12th, right? Or
I think it was
13th.
13th.
Yeah, 13th if I'm not
13th.
mistaken.
So not high enough to make it, not even high enough to be in the bubble. Uh, but we were happy with what we did. But I'll be honest, I personally could not let it go. I could not let it sleep there. Um, and I think Keith was there with me, because Keith, you and I Braxton's been playing the game. Keith and I still play the game pretty casually, and we jump in when we can.
Hmm.
Braxton has played it at the highest level he could ever since the channel's inception and since the channel had slowed down. Braxton had never stopped.
Yeah. Jose and I
So
have taken breaks, hiatuses. We've had, kind of swings up, swings down, just depending on how years and life has gotten, to go back to the beginning of the video.
exactly. So, but I said, I think I got one more in me. I think I got one last shot. And unfortunately, the same weekend of the tournament, I had a bunch of life events happen to coalesce into this week, into the week leading up to the event and the week after.
Which
Um,
is, to clarify with everyone, fast forwarding to this current event that just happened at Duluth. Now, we've
yes,
moved
yes,
on from
yes.
the original. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. I'm so rusty.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
We fast forwarded to 2025. We're here.
Hmm.
Um, I was gonna play Reziel original, but then Bryson picked up a deck after Festival Collection 2025. He already had the Virgila start deck from when it dropped, and then he picked up the Elf Knight stuff, of course. And he went to go visit Keith for a little bit to get some practice in. I hadn't a chance to much practice at all. And Keith, I'll let you take it from here really quick.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, as Jose was saying, Braxton came down. We wanted to just do some practice before Duluth. And also, we had multiple case splits as well that Braxton had just been holding on for me and just needed to unload because he was just sitting on cards, burning a hole in his pocket at this point. So Braxton and I were just jamming the good decks that we had. I had Odium, I had Blangmire, obviously. Braxton had Bevsagra, and the Virgila deck. And I was just like, I want to try out the Virgila deck because it's a good deck. I think we might see it in Atlanta, in Duluth, excuse me. And it's just good to get some practice, just to kind of get a feel of what other decks do, I think. So I started playing with it, and as soon as I played the first game, I immediately realized this is a deck for Jose. Like this is him through and through. The amount of aggro this thing puts out, and I think anyone that is familiar that is watching the video and has tried Virgila will realize that yes, this is a go fast deck. And as soon as that happened, I sent him a message in the chat, and I was like, Jose, stop the presses, try out Virgila. You got to see how this goes.
Yeah, and like I said, luckily Braxton, I hung out with him that weekend. Scooped up, or I told him, I said, "Hey, Keith's saying I should try this." Braxton as always. So Braxton just says, "Play whatever you want. I'm just happy to be there with you guys. That's all that really matters to me." That's the Braxton motto there. So I start practicing Virgila. Don't get to practice it as much as I'd like. So I'm actually pretty despondent. I think that I'm going to be the person who's going to keep us down the entire run, and I vocalized that very clear because I didn't want to let you guys down again. But we'll fast forward a little bit more to the day of the tourney. Hotel elevator is gone. We've got fire alarms the day before, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right. Shout outs to anyone that was staying at the Holiday Inn that was just outside the Duluth Convention Center because that sucked. And I'm sorry.
And yet we keep going back. That Weston's too damn pricey.
Yeah, the Weston is too pricey. It's so nice. It has a Starbucks too. It makes me so sad.
Why do you think it's so pricey? That Starbucks ain't cheap.
So we get in, we sit down, and Braxton, what was your one piece of advice for us going into the tournament? Because I think this really set the tone for the mindset of what the tourney was going to look like.
I'll say I'm not really good on speeches, so I kept it short and brief. I said, "Don't worry about, because we at this point we already knew it was going to be like 7 or 8 rounds, and I was like, don't worry about round 7, don't worry about round 8, don't worry about top cut. The most important game that you're going to play today is the one in front of you, and that's the game that matters."
And it really helped, I think, put everything into perspective, is that you play the game literally one round or one, especially in a format that's best of one. You cannot think about the third round if you do not get through the first two. So I was playing Virgila. Keith?
I was on Blangmire Nexus.
I was playing Bav.
And so we start off round 1. I will forget who I played. I know generally everything that I played, but I'm kind of forgetting. But I do remember round 1 because it was Bruce. And I didn't know that I've forgotten that they had another mechanic called Final Burst on top of Final Rush. And when he kept saying, like, I'm in Final Burst, I was like, I don't know what that means, Chief. And I was like, but it's okay. And I think, Keith, what'd you play against?
I played the mirror, actually. I was on Blangmire versus Blangmire.
Yeah. And Brax, you played against Kyrie, I think, right?
Yep, played against Kyrie.
Yeah. So my game was over in maybe 7 minutes, maybe 8. And that's like me honestly being like, it was over really fast. I did win because at the end of the day, Virgila doesn't care what the opponent's deck does because it does one thing and it just does it very, very well. My kind of
alert to everyone that's watching as well right now. That theme is going to be seen throughout the rounds for Jose's rounds. It will not change very much from there. So.
And then Braxton, go ahead and talk about your game a little bit.
I played against Kyrie. I went second, and before I even started drawing my cards, I opened like a bunch of orders, so I died.
Gotta see the orders. I mean, kind of not see those orders. Well, you do, but you don't. You know what I mean? And then Keith, you played the mirror.
Yes, played the mirror. Took it. I went first. It was one of only 2 die rolls I won that day, which was a little bit disappointing in that regard. But I think it really came down to I saw my pieces. He didn't. He really didn't. He didn't have the proper setups, and I just had the setups and eventually just ground him out. He did check a miracle heal, which is always a tiny bit tilting to start your day with. but it wasn't enough. I got there in the end, especially with the added help of an offensive OT, but at that point, the game was pretty much decided.
For those of you watching at home, you're going to hear that trend become much more common for Keith's adventure to
Yeah.
the end of this tournament. Um, uh, I lost most of my die rolls, but I was absolutely okay with it because I want to go second anyways. So every time I lost a die roll and they were like, I'm going to go first, I was like, you got it, boss. Whatever you need, chief. I'll get you started here for you right now, buddy. That's yours. Um, Also, a quick side note, events, it's crazy to look back at it just really quick. Events, Bushi Road Regionals have come such a long way in terms of organization and function
Mhm. Yeah.
than they did in 2015, 2016 when we first started. Well, 2014 when we first went, and even when Keith, you started really coming in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
Like, the events are ran so much better. They're so much more efficient. The Bushi Road shops are so much cooler. The Bushi, look, for all of the things we've said bad about Bushi, and we continue to say bad about Bushi because they're not perfect. Um, Bushi Navi might be one of the best things Bushi Road's ever done when it comes to their game. It's actually like a pretty good app when it comes to like deck creation, tournament structure software, like event registration. It really helps smooth things out, especially when you have 146 teams like we did in Duluth. So,
Absolutely.
To put this into perspective, like we've been playing these so long. These events used to be held into the share at the Sheridan Hotel, and we used to have to write our deck list with the number ID and everything.
oh, dude, we did. I didn't even think about that.
And
We used to be out front of.
we couldn't abbreviate the names, had to write the whole thing.
Conquering Supreme Dragon, Conquering Dragon, Conquer Dragon.
God,
And
I
if you
forgot
had
about him.
and if you had like a SP of a card, you had to write it separately with the ID. Ugh, it was a time.
It really was. And that takes us to, so that's round one. We go into round two, feeling pretty good. I won my first game, so which is more games than I thought I was going to win the entire day. And we go into round two. Braxton, I'll start with you this time. Would you play round two?
I think I played the mirror.
Okay. And then Keith.
I played the counterpart to Welstra, which I think he's just called Black. The guy,
Yeah.
the Coral Color guy.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
You
And then I played against Levy Dross. And just a quick recap, Braxton. I'll go back to you. Quick. Each round, I'll ask for a quick recap of like just how
mhm.
your game went. That way we can do it that way. So Brax, back to you.
I ended up taking it, but I also opened up Verilord in my opening hand, so I had it the whole game.
Oh snap. Okay. Um, Keith.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I got this was probably my luckiest round, I think, out of all of them because this was a double crit on the Blangmire Divine Skill turn. He didn't have anything for that. He weirdly enough had checked a defensive OT early on in the game, but that was not the turn that I swung with Blangmire double crit, so that was not going to save him at that point. So really
Ugh.
nice guy as well, and to say that as well for my first opponent, both of them really good guys that I played against. I think most of my rounds actually I had like very amicable kind of talks with everyone that I was playing against. So
I would agree with that too. Definitely,
hmm
definitely.
Yeah, my
Uh,
opponent was the guy who did the Loire cosplay.
oh,
oh,
that's
sick.
right. I forgot about that. It was that guy. Yeah.
Hmm.
I played into Levy Dross, and I just had to get the dudes big enough to where the marker they still had to guard after the marker, and then and plus, for those of you who build Virgilla or want to play it, I'll give you a pro tip. In a best of one format, go for the crit on grade two. It knocks people off kilter. It psychologically messes with them. Like, get the crit on Virgilla in grade two, and you're gonna be very happy because you're just gonna put see Poe's even very happy,
Yeah.
man.
Always. Yeah.
um, but yeah, so I'd put him up enough damage by the time that like we got to it. I think this was the game I Persona Road and Alf Knights,
Oh
which was
Lord.
amazing. It was just so much power that like I just pushed him out of the game, or it might have just been one of the other ones where I just went on the first ride. But it was a pretty good game. Just had to get to outdo the markers. I just had to increase the power enough, which the deck can do. That leads us into round three. Uh, Keith, I'll start with you this time. What'd you play and how'd it go?
Sure. This round, if I'm not mistaken, was Varga that I played. I went second, which is not what you want to be doing when you're playing against Varga. Uh, but again, the things were a little bit dicey once more on with me checking a crit on the Blangmire turn, but then he checked defensive OT so that he survived the whole turn. But at that point, I kind of built up so much tempo advantage that I just needed to kind of keep
Mm,
that pressure on to close out the game.
definitely. Then, um, Braxton, I'll bring it over to you. This is round three.
Round three, I believe I played against Orphis Mask.
Mhm.
And it was a longer game that I would have liked, and it just came to a situation where they had to crit to kill me for game, and they one-upped me and hit Brandgate OT.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, anything but that, please.
Yeah.
I played up against Odium this round. I confirmed that because if Braxton played against Orphis Mask, that's the game I played against Odium. I couldn't remember who the round three one was, but now I'm sure it was
Mhm.
Odium.
No
Um,
wonder he did that sequence, everyone. He was trying to remember.
yeah, sure. It this game, I think I just crit him into the ground if I remember right. Like
Mhm.
I just put it the grade two. I think I hit a grade off. I crit off the grade two rush, so he was already like he went from one because I think this is the game where Braxton told me afterwards he looked over and he was like, "This guy's at 5 damage and Jose's at one."
Mhm.
And it's good because I remember I crit on grade two and then he had wasted all his resources to survive, and then by the time it got back to me because he can't divine skill on his first grade three, I pushed it out and we got the win on that one. That takes us to round four, which is our first loss, unfortunately, of the night.
hmm
Um, round four, I played up against the Mirror. Ironically, the one deck I did know was the one deck I lost against. Like the one deck I did actually understand. Like I knew Levy Dross relatively well. I knew it pretty well. And Odium, I knew very well because a bunch of our friends at our locals actually played. Somebody at our locals plays Levy Dross, and a good friend of ours played Odium into the ground. So I understood Odium pretty well. And but uh Regilla, I just absolutely bungled it. One, I drew and I think this is going to be a trend across all three of us. We drew some pretty shit hands, like some garbage
Mhm.
hands, and just everything didn't go our way, and everything went their way that time. So it is what it is, and I ended up losing that one. And then I'll pass it over to Keith here.
Sure. So yeah, I played against Bav in that round, going second in what Jose was saying in terms of the bricks. I saw, I think, so there's 6 or 7 of my crits by the time I was on Blangmire. None of them checked on drives, obviously. Just raw drew them and the OT from my deck without seeing any pieces. I will say this is one of 2 games that I scooped in Swiss, mostly because either both of the guys had won their games, or in this case, Jose and Brax had already lost theirs. And since I was playing a deck that usually was, I think nearly all my rounds I heard time being called or was just about to hear time being called. I wanted to save my mental brain power as much as possible. So at that point, just looked at my opponent, asked him, "Are you good with just closing out this game? I know you guys have already won." He agreed, and that was that. Otherwise, I think most of the time, Bav is. I always kind of feel slightly on the back foot against Bav, but it could have gone either way. Maybe if I checked that last crit on a good turn and things went well. But yeah, I'll pass it
Definitely.
over to Prax.
Yeah, I ended up playing into prison. Um, my hand wasn't too bad, but I just like misplayed that game and just died. So it is what it is.
Definitely. So after our first loss, we took it pretty hard. We went and had a talk. Braxton hit us with the most important game is the next game. Most important game is the game in front of you. So I said, all right, we're going into round five. Round five was our pick me up game. Round five was we needed. I truly do believe we needed that round five. That round five really brought us back into the fold.
Yeah, it was a nice like
Um,
resetting of the tempo, kind of, I think, because our
yes,
wind had kind of been taken out of our sails with that round 4.
yeah. So round five, Brax, what'd you go into?
I think it was Messiah.
It was
It was okay. I ran to Messiah, and I don't think I was just meant to win that game, and I got dunked on.
yeah, and then And
But
then,
luckily, I got two great teammates to support me. So,
oh, come on now. Keith, what'd you crash into in round five?
Once again, I actually ended up playing Vargas. So I had two Vargas in my Swiss rounds. Once again, also went second against the Varga player, but managed to close it out. He got a little bit confused on how Blangmire's Divine Skill worked and was just kind of able to close it out from there.
Yeah, I played into prison, which honestly, I rarely ever feel bad for like absolutely just demolishing a player by just sheer luck. This time I felt okay with it. It was the great only because I needed the win really bad, and
Uh,
so grade one, Virgilla checked over trigger, restood, swung again, checked a crit. Then in my grade two, he guarded it into grade my first Half Knight's turn, double triggered him into the ground. So it was over just as quick as it. I think it was my quickest game. And then I immediately looked over to Keith, and which was a common trend in the 8 rounds. I
yes.
would look over to Keith. Keith would look back over to me, and he'd be like, "I'm not even into grade three," and I'm like, "I'm done."
Yeah, that's right. I just get the knowing nod that he had won his round, and I'd be like, well, I guess I'll go back to 20 more minutes of playing. So,
Um, and that was round five. Then we go into round six. Round six, is this the other loss, or is it
yes,
round?
round six
Okay,
is the next loss.
yeah,
so round
I'm
six.
I'm looking
Go
at the
ahead.
report right now. We lost that one.
Gotcha. Round six, I ran into the mirror, a trend you'll see, and lost a trend you'll see again. I couldn't figure out what I hadn't played the mirror at all, so I had no idea what I was doing, and I thought aggro would do well, but then I was like, wait a minute, but this guy's just as fast as me. So that was kind of hard. Passing it off to Braxton, what'd you go into?
I also ran into the mirror and a trend you'll see, and I actually won this one as well. A trend you'll see. I think what really came down to it uh, is I was playing Axe. Axe on Bav gives her Battle Door, so that one extra card that I can steal out of the opponent's hands. And plus, they dropped their Yuga Mashads, like went double Yuga Mashad extremely early. So once I was able to like clear them out, it helped me stabilize a lot.
Perfect. Keith?
And I ran into Ava. This was a loss for me. I went second, and my opponent, nice guy as well, but he checked four active defensive heals into defensive OT on Blangmire's Divine Skill turn. I just could not push 11 damage in that game. I could not do it. So that's really
Yeah,
what it
it
came
was.
down to. I did 10. I couldn't do the 11.
Hey man, that's respectable.
That's
Even
Yeah,
even
10
even a
damage.
super powered Greedon can't do that. You know,
yeah,
can.
that's right.
So no, it's that one was tough. But what was pivotal about that one is that's the game Braxton I think truly activated again. I
Yeah,
think after that Braxton kind of came in full force and things were going to be good. Things were going to be okay the rest of the ride. Which brings
yeah.
us into round seven. Um, Keith, I'm gonna start with you. Would you play round seven?
Sure. And I think as well, just to give a quick side tangent to it, I think at that point, even though we were X2, we were thinking, we saw one of the opponent we lost to in round four was at the basic top table. So we are like, our tiebreakers must be fairly okay this time around. Because I think a lot of the time we've gone X2 and just decided it's not worth it. Let's just go have a good time. But this time around, I think we were like, let's keep going. We're gonna see if we get if we just the round ahead of us. We'll just see if we win the next round and keep
Yeah.
playing. But for this one, I played against Bav, and again, just the heavens decided I was not going to be winning that game. Early game, I went second. I think on his grade two, I said OT to pass, blue OT. Grade three, I tried to guard, or I healed back to one, and then he checked. I think it was crit heal or crit heal something, and the damage swung 0 to 5, and that was just too much tempo, and I could not come back from that.
Mm-hmm. Bringing it up to you, Braxton.
So that was your Bev game. And that was that. So I'm pretty sure I played in a Blackmire that game.
Yeah, yours was Blangmire.
Okay. And I really felt good about it. The that particular player didn't wasn't very like aggressive in the early game, so it really just allowed me to like accrue my advantage. I think by the time uh, he finished his first grade 3 turn, I was still sitting at 2 damage, which I felt extremely comfortable with. And then after my first grade 3 turn, I luckily healed down to 1, so I was like, I think I'll be all right. And I just grinded it out, which is we were getting really close on time because it was a long game, but I eventually grinded it out, and he decked himself out for the personal the personal victory.
Um, I played, and I needed you again, Braxton, to help me out here. I played into
Raziel?
yeah, Raziel. This is the time I played into Raziel. And then no. This is the one I played into. Oh, maybe it was this right? Are you sure the Raziel wasn't the last one we played? Was this the one where you decked him out?
Yes.
Oh, then I did play Raziel. And again, Virgil, I mean, another deck I actually knew incredibly well, but and I knew what he was going to do every turn he did it. But honestly, I was still like, I don't really care. Like, Virgil's is going to do his one thing, and he's going to do it really good. And 15K shield and 20K shields, grade twos are really good. And so I was able to just really put the pressure on and just push for game. And then most of my games, to be completely frank, I won on my first grade 3 turn. My first Alf Nights was usually how I pushed out games. Like a few of them, I think, were my second. I think this was one of the ones that was my second because he had to persona ride into another Raziel instead of Vita, and so then it came back to me, and I was like, okay, persona ride Alf Knights, hiya, and kind of pushed out that kind of power. So that's a lot of attacks, man. And then that brings us to round 8. And sorry about that, everyone. We had to take a quick break to make sure we had enough time to finish recording this because things are weird. So, but we're back. And now we're into round 8, the good old legendary round 8. Round 8 I was stressed and I was very scared going into round 8. Like, we'd done it, we had made it here, but also, and a lot of the rounds, I kept going over to Keith to tell him, man, if it ends like what a run again, like what a like we like, especially I felt like I was going to be weighing us down, and we just did really well. Braxton had turned it on, and now he was an unstoppable force that he always is. And then Keith, you again, man, the you kept your head cool and you kept your brain on, man. And with a deck like Blang, like dude, you can run out of mental steam so fast.
Mhm. Yes. And with all of that to say to everyone as well, none of us ate breakfast that morning. We were all running on water and vibes. Just throwing this in there. So,
and one airplane bottle of Pink Whitney. That is literally
yes,
all.
cannot forget that.
So we then go into round 8. I play into and I'll go quick on this one. I played into Odium again. This is the second time I played into Odium. Uh Game is pretty even until my first Alf Knight's turn, where I go swing, activated the skill, so 3 drives. First check, nothing. Second check, crit. Third check, over trigger. Dragveda. Draw the card,
Jeez.
restand, swing again. He, I think he doesn't guard it again. I can't because it was 100 million. So, oh no, he does. He PGs it. Yeah, he BGs it because then I go front crit.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
Jesus.
and then the rear guards just do him in. Like there was nothing he was going to be able to do at that point. And he just went out, and that's the way it was. And that was a game that it was just over. And then I'll pass it off to Braxton.
Um, for me, I ran into the mirror. And honestly, I think they just kind of like bricked. My opening was just a lot better than theirs. I got to the point where he dropped a 2 to pass on me, and I broke it with a front and a crit, and I was like, "That's it."
Yep.
The front always makes that 2 to fast feel so good. You're just
Yeah.
like, If it happens, it happens. I don't even have to think about it.
Especially when it's a two to pass and you hit the front first,
Oh yeah,
and
exactly.
you're like, oh,
Yeah,
get
it's
my
all
brain
gravy.
out of here.
Yeah.
And then, so that was that. Keith, no, you got to play, obviously.
That's right. And once again, this is in similar fashion to round four. The guys had already won their games. And this one, so I ended up scooping this as a spoiler. I played into Leonorn, and this was against Ashley, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
Actually, really funny individual. Had a lot of just banter there, and it I would say was slightly in my favor on that one. Just because I don't believe that they had the persona right to come back after my Blangmeyer turn, which would have obviously made things difficult. Of course, as Vanguard, things could have obviously swung in the other direction, but I was feeling fairly okay about that game. But regardless, since the guys had won, I just said, "Are you willing to scoop?" And they agreed to it. So, or are you willing to accept my scoop? I guess, or did you want to play it out? And they were fine with it. So we just ended up wrapping it up there.
Fantastic. And then that leads us to so we wait. Braxton
Yeah.
tells me to stop checking the Bushi nav to see what the final standings are. Because going into the final round, we were 15 and we were at table 11. So we were like,
Yes.
this could happen for us. We could come right in at the end, or we'd be right outside again. And we were like,
Yeah. I think we were informed that it was four X2s that were going to make it. And of course, if you guys have been following along, we are 6-2 in this tournament overall.
And
right.
So,
we had to stay seated because judges were like, at the end of this round, if you're 6'2", sit your butt down.
yes.
Yep. So we were there. We were, refreshing it. And the final standings come out. And like the days of Bubble Boy, we were number
Mm.
9. But so they did. They said they said final standings are out. Take a look. If you're in the top 8, go ahead and get ready for deck check. If you are ninth and 10th, please await further instructions. So the judge came over to us and said, "You're ninth, you're 10th." We had to sit in the table that corresponded with the number of place that we were in. So we're at table 9, facing the judges. And they came over to us and they were like, "Hey, you guys are on standby. If any
Hmm.
team has to be disqualified for any reason, you're next up." And then it says, if any other team or they don't, you would be next up as well. And so we were like, okay. Then finally, after 8 rounds and hours, it's also very important that throughout the rounds, we kept getting up and kept buying things from the Bushi shop or buying other stuff. We bought, I don't even want to know how many of those silly pins we bought, but we bought so many of them. I think we bought like 30 of them throughout the course of the weekend.
Yeah, that's right. The gachapon was strong among the group.
It
So,
was so good. Plus, Bushiroad doing that special where they were like, spend $20 pre-tax and you get one of the promo packs, and then having those little $6 trinkets like the gachapons. I'm like, they know what they're doing, man. They need to go
yeah,
into the mobile game space.
pure stonks.
um, but finally they were like, hey, it's gonna take like 20 to 25 minutes before we even like get through like the first 4 teams. So like, go ahead, like keep your stuff here. We're watching it. Go get lunch. Go get some food. And we're like, praise be. There's a cafe right down from the venue, like a couple doors down. You guys got paninis, by the way, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
All they had was beef paninis. No turkey.
Yeah.
No turkey.
Let me tell you something. You didn't miss out. I had the turkey paninis before I left on Sunday. They weren't that
Okay.
good. But I did immediately scarf down a burger. Like I was like, burger. And then I scooped up a lot of my cards that I need because I wanted Dissection Angels. I wanted my own Elf Knights. I went and like splurged on a bunch of that stuff. And then we went back in after we ate and we were sitting down and things were getting sweaty. And we were like, worst case scenario. We did better than we did before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Significantly. Even though it was just the difference between 13th and ninth, we did significantly better.
we did significantly better. And then we saw a judge picking up a deck. And I think Braxton, you were the one who commented on it, right?
Yeah, because we were talking amongst ourselves, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the judge like stand up, like take the deck, and then walk over to another judge, and I was just like, "Guy, shut up! Is it happening?"
And I believe
Yeah.
Keith was
Yeah, I immediately looked at Braxton. I was like, don't give me hope. Don't give me hope.
It's straight out of Avengers Endgame. I could see like the rain on his face with the dark Ronin suit being like, don't please don't give me hope. And then there was more discussion, more conversations with people, and then we saw them pick up a second deck.
Yes. This, to give context to everyone as well, it was over the course of like 20, 25 minutes. This was a long procedure that was happening with just even that first deck.
I say
Like, this
one
was a long
judge,
time.
one judge went to another judge, went to another judge, went to behind the behind the stage. It
Behind the
was
curtain.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of, but in the end, we were told sort them out, and it was our moment. So now, what was even more stressful in the 8 rounds was the moment that God, please don't tell me I fucked up my list.
Yes, that's right.
I was counting it. I was spreading out the funny thing that happened during my deck check is that two of like two essential pieces of my deck had fallen. So they were doing the deck check. The Sabrins or whatever his name, the flag boy from
It was
Virgilia.
it was Nathaniel, right? He's
It
like,
was Daniel.
yeah, because I just look over and I just see Nathaniel looking, and he's just like, where, where's the dude? And we're like, what dude? What are you talking about? And he just start counting cards. And he's just like, yeah, there's not 50 cards here. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, I clearly played the dude. You can't win games without him, and it's literally impossible. And so I looked on the floor. The cards had fallen when I was sorting it because I was so freaking nervous. So I put them
Spaghetti.
back. It was literal spaghetti. So deck check went well. Kudos to the guy who was checking Keith's deck.
Yes, that's right. Shoutouts to Dale, I believe his name was.
Yeah,
The most meticulous person I have ever seen check a deck. Like, I had changed those sleeves the night before, thought everything was good. I was just over there, like, I thought my PhD was bad. The amount of analysis this man put into my deck was impeccable. Absolutely impeccable.
I feel like
So,
the only thing would have been worse if he had one of those glasses with like that like jewelry people use,
yeah,
to like
that's
and he'd be
right.
like,
Yeah.
"There's a slit right here in your sleeve, baby."
Yeah.
But so
Also,
are you saying Dale defended his thesis, Keith?
Yeah, he did in fact. He did in fact.
and then Braxton had to go pick up a new set of sleeves.
Yeah, because one of my sleeves on one of my Cindy's that Nathaniel pulled out was just like, yeah, you got to swap this, and I forgot to bring my spare sleeves. So I was just like, you know what? Instead of running back to the hotel, I had to. It was a little. I don't want to say frustrating. It was just unfortunate because the first vendor I went to, they were like, "We forgot our standard size. We forgot our Japanese size sleeves," and I was just
No.
like,
To a
"Huh?"
Bushi event?
To a Bushi event. But luckily, I found these nice black sleeves to save my deck check.
Well,
Also,
barely. You should also
Barely,
put a little bit of
yeah,
comment on
barely.
that.
So with Jose's help, we re-sleeve the deck. And mind you, like I opened this pack of sleeves in front of Nathaniel, and we re-sleeve the deck in front of Nathaniel, and then he goes, shuffles the deck, and immediately takes out two bonked sleeves
like out off the freaking production line.
Yeah.
off the line.
I
I
think that
was
was
just
just a
like, oh my
collective sigh
God.
from myself, Jose, Braxton, and Nathaniel. Just like, really, Dragon Shield? Are you gonna do that?
But so we were officially in. We passed deck check. We I think there was a squeal that could be heard through time itself. Like
Uh,
it was a very wholesome moment. We all because you guys have been. This is also why we're making the video. To be honest, like I felt and Keith was pushing me to do it as well, and Braxton was like, "Oh, here we go again." So uh, our adult lives, one anchor
Together.
of it has been playing this game together
mhm.
since we were in our early 20s. We have Jesus world. We have been playing this game,
Yeah.
and somehow somebody in these events remembers who we are, even years since we've done like an actual video. I mean, I did streaming for a while, then my internet sucked, and so I stopped doing that. But like, even still, like the idea that people would come up and talk to us and notice us and ask to sign a card is it's very unreal. So and it's hard to do something for that long and not do it to the best that can be done, just to say, or like to make the top eight, right? We've gotten so many ARG Nats, RP ARG. We
Mhm.
got to ARG Nats, we went to ARG Locals, we've done ARG Regionals. ARG, we did that front and back, but the Bushi top had it had
Eluded us.
eluded us. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. It had
Mhm.
eluded us this whole time. So that's my one little monologue there about that. I don't know if you guys want to add any color to that, but
No, I think
Y-
I think you really hit the nail. All right, go ahead, Preston. I'll let you go.
You know how many rage videos we've done about Bushi events? Like that's how long. Like we've like earlier I said like we used to go to the Sheridan. I don't even think people nowadays know where the Sheridan is. Like does that Sheridan even still exist by that airport?
I don't think so. I think it's closed. The TGI Friday is still there. I think so.
Oh, word, that's
Great.
actually really cool. But we've been there since there was a Sheridan, and then it moved into the Omni, and now it's in Duluth, and like it's we've been doing this for a while.
So true.
Yeah.
You were saying,
Yeah.
Keith?
Yeah, there's been so many tournaments I think that we have gone to. We have come so close, especially when it comes to the bushy ones. As Jose said, like I've gotten top eight. I did ARG Nationals. I know Ryan has done it twice. I think Braxton, you got top 16 at one point. So we'd always
Hmm.
done well in those, but the bushy events, just we never seem to have gotten there. I've come in ninth, I've come in 10th before in bushy events, I in singles and in teams as well previously. But it was always just outside of the cusp of getting that top. And it always just felt like, do I have any authority in this game? Like, am I just a bad player? You just have so many self-doubts that will creep into your head on just always coming close. And so this felt like the culmination of years of playing this game and just finally arriving at that position, at that point.
Yep. All right, you want to say something? One last thing there.
Yeah, like just, and this also goes into what you said about how much better they run events like now as opposed to before. Like back before, you could go X1 in an event and still not make top cut.
That's
Yes.
so true. That's so true.
Like I've been X1, I think like two, I want to say two for sure, maybe three times and not made top cut.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I did
And
it once
then
as well, I think, and didn't make it. So,
we sat down. You know, it was from then on. I honestly like. I obviously wanted to keep playing and keep winning, but like the mission was accomplished. I was so happy. I was over the moon for this to have happened. When we sat down, of course, we go into the first round of top eight, and it is the team we lost to in round four.
yeah, they had gone
Uh,
undefeated. They were the team one. That was, I don't know if it's Crow's Nest or Kingslayer cards.
No, it's
Which
Crow's
one did
Nest.
Crow's
Crow's
Nest?
Nest.
Okay, yeah, like how the definition is there, the discrepancy is. But yeah, that was our opponent's round four. It is our opponents in top eight. They went undefeated, which also
Yep.
helped. That's probably why we were finished ninth at that point.
Yep. And then as we sit down, these beautiful markers get bestowed to us. We get just enough time to look at them. You guys sleeve them up, I think, to use them in the
I,
game. I
I
just threw it
sleeved
in the
it up.
deck box.
I sleeved it up immediately. I've been wanting one of these markers for so long.
And even looking at it now, I'm still like surprised. And we played the game, and unfortunately, it was a much closer for all three of us. I can honestly say it was a much closer set than in round four. For me, and I just got double critted on my opponents. I think we played. I think we went to eat his second out knights, his last, because he damage checked two of his out knights,
Oh,
so he did not
jeez.
have access. This was his last chance at it, and it was also his last search that got him the out knights. His last grade one, because he did it several times and kept whiffing, and so this was his last shot at like getting the out knights. So there was a chance that if he hadn't gotten the out knights, I think I would have still gotten there. But then he double critted me, and I just didn't have the gas to guard it, and that was the end of the line there for me. And then I'll pass it over to Braxton.
So I played into the prison player again this time. I went. So it's funny because the first time I won the die roll and chose to go second. Second time, he won the die roll, so I went second again. Anyway, I was just like, all right, cool. Same as literally the exact same run back. The only difference is because I remember from the first game, he played the matchup like very aggressive, was just throwing down dudes and swinging them at me. And I was really passive the first time around. So this time I said, bump it. I'm just going to damage race you. So I didn't care if my dudes got like locked into prison. I just threw cards down and started swinging at them. I was basically trying to create this scenario where um, if there was just like an inch, I could just steal the game. And it came down to I just had to crit him to basically end the game, and I one-upped him and hit blue OT. So there we go.
There it goes. And then Keith, you rounded out the end here.
Yeah, sure. So I played into the Bav player again. Once again, the recurring theme of losing the die roll on the tournament seat for this event. It was an incredibly close game. It went down to 2 cards left in my deck. My opponent went through all 3 Persona rides of Bav. It really was a case of I needed to check 1 extra crit on my twin drive, and I just couldn't get there. My deck was, I think, it was a lot of triggers and not that many blanks, but one of them was a blank. And it could have really gone either way. I think if I think back to it, I definitely did a misplay of binding the wrong Blangmire. I bound the original for my soul, so I lost the power boost. At that point, I think it was just a mental burnout had finally gotten to me from the day of trying to play a deck that was pretty much going to time every round, and especially in a game that was going to deck out. And my opponent had the guard, and that was that. I wasn't able to get there. But it was a fantastic game. I think even then, we kind of talked about it a little bit. It seemingly had the guard to be able to get there. Even if I hadn't bound face down the Blangmire. But again, it is what it is.
You never
That's
know.
how the game played out. So
Exactly. And thus came the end of our run. But an unprecedented run, legendary. We joked and said, "Okay, it's over. We can now retire." But then, ironically, the effect has been the opposite. At least for Keith and I, the effect has
yes.
been absolutely the opposite. As I picked up I've already got the list for Reziel without Dissection Angels, Minerva with Dissection Angels, and Howlriser just because somebody's got to play that deck, right? And I've got my stuff for the Regilla Start deck. And then I think you picked the La Boo Boo. What was it called?
Yeah.
Heart Luru?
Heart Luru, yes.
Heart Lu La Boo Boo.
Lububu the toy
from
maker.
Japan or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was one hell of a run. One I will never forget. We will be back for teams. I do not doubt it. Singles possibly as well. We'll be back in the fray. And so, really, I want to cap this off by saying I'll let you guys say any last words before we close it up. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for everything you guys have done to support us. Thank you for the kind words. And it's cool to kind of recap this and tell you how it went. And it was a wild ride, man. Anything else you guys would like to add before I close this out?
No, yeah, I think that just, it is. I've said this to the guys already, but to all of you out there, it blows my mind that there are some of you still out there that have not gotten Jose's signature and want his signature in 2025.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't even spell it right. I think he just scribbles and
I sign it, I put my caption and I put Team Absolution, but I put the TM Absolution.
But honestly, like, to all of you guys, the ones that have still come there, like, after all this time, like the people that we come and say hi to again, like, there's so many familiar faces who come to. And it's a big reason of why we still come out there to those events. And, why I think, I've been bugging Jose for the longest time just to record a video, do some sort of video. We gotta bring the channel back, baby. Like, do something. I finally was able to put a chink in the armor this time around. It just took a top 8 to get there and get this video out. But yeah, thank you guys. Like, it's been fantastic.
What about you, Brax?
Look, man, I came for a great time and I had a great time. I don't know what more to say.
I can't agree with you guys more. Well, thank you all for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content. I guess. Throw a comment and a like.
I'm sorry, what?
If
Did you
you
say more
wait,
content?
what was that?
look, I'm just
Whoa.
I gotta end it the way it's always been ended, okay? Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more Vanguard content. Hit a like, hit a comment if you want to see us do more. I can't make any promises, but let me tell you something. Nudging Keith is not gonna stop it. You know what I mean? It's not gonna. If you nudge him, he might just be like, "Bro, they want more. They want more. They need you." So, but thank you so much as always for watching. This is Team Absolution signing off. Peace.
Bye-bye.